Every year, millions of Americans gather on July 4th to watch fireworks light up the night sky. There's barbecue on the grill, parades down Main Street, and red, white, and blue everywhere you look. But have you ever stopped to wonder, why July 4th? Why not July 2nd? America's fight for independence didn't magically start. What really happened on July 4th, 1776? And why did that date become America's birthday? The road to independence. By the 1760s, the 13 British colonies in North America were thriving. They had their own governments. The colonies were still under British rule, and that meant taxes and laws from a king across the ocean. After the costly French and Indian War, Parliament began passing new taxes on the colonies. The Stamp Act in 1765, the Townshend Acts in 1767, and the infamous Tea Act in 1773. They argued that they were being taxed without representation. That's where the famous slogan came from: "No taxation without representation." When British troops opened fire on protesters in 1770, tensions exploded. Then, in 1773, angry colonists disguised as Native Americans boarded ships in Boston Harbor and dumped 342 chests of British tea into the water. The Boston Tea Party became a symbol of defiance. From protest to revolution, Britain responded with harsh punishments called the Coercive Acts. The colonies realized that they had to unite. In September 1774, representatives from 12 of the 13 colonies met in Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress. They didn't call for independence yet, but they agreed to boycott British goods and prepare for the possibility of war. And war came sooner than expected. In April 1775, British soldiers marched to seize colonial weapons in Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. The first shots of the American Revolution were fired. By the summer of 1775, most colonists still hoped for peace. The Continental Congress sent a last appeal to King George III. The king refused to even read it. The colonies realized that reconciliation was impossible. Independence was the only option. The idea of independence. In early 1776, a recent immigrant from England named Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense, a fiery document arguing that the colonies didn't just need better treatment from Britain, they needed to break free entirely. His words spread like wildfire, inspiring thousands. By May 1776, one colony after another began to authorize their delegates to vote for independence. The Continental Congress knew it was time to act. Writing the Declaration. In June 1776, the Congress appointed a committee of 5 to draft a formal declaration. The group included John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, Robert R. Livingston, and a 33-year-old delegate from Virginia. Jefferson, known for his elegant writing, was chosen to draft the first version. For 17 days, Jefferson worked tirelessly in his rented Philadelphia room. He drew on Enlightenment ideas about liberty and natural rights, that they are endowed with unalienable rights, and that governments exist only with the consent of the governed, July 2nd or July 4th. Now, here's where the date confusion begins. On July 2nd, 1776, the Continental Congress officially voted in favor of independence. 12 colonies said yes, and New York abstained. They joined later. That means, technically, July 2nd was the day America became independent. In fact, John Adams, one of the key figures behind the movement, was so excited that he wrote to his wife Abigail, "The second day of July, 1776, will be the most memorable epocha in the history of America." He predicted that future generations would celebrate it with fireworks, parades, and celebrations. Adams was almost right, except he got the date wrong. Because 2 days later, on July 4th, Congress approved the final wording of Jefferson's Declaration of Independence. That's the date printed on the document itself, the one that was sent to the printer and distributed throughout the colonies. While the decision happened on July 2nd, the document, the Declaration we all know, was officially adopted and dated July 4th, 1776. The Declaration goes public. The Declaration was printed by John Dunlap. On July 8th, the Declaration was read aloud for the first time to a public crowd in Philadelphia. The Liberty Bell is said to have rung in celebration. Everywhere it went, people gathered to hear it read aloud. The war continues. Declaring independence didn't make it real overnight. The war against Britain raged on for another 7 years. George Washington led the Continental Army through defeats and victories, including the harsh winter at Valley Forge. Only in 1783, with the signing of the Treaty of Paris, did Britain officially recognize the United States, but July 4th remained the symbolic birthday. How July 4th became a holiday. After the war, July 4th quickly became a day of celebration. Towns held parades, bells rang, and fireworks lit up the sky. In 1777, just 1 year after independence, Philadelphia marked the first official 4th of July celebration with a 13-gun salute and fireworks. Over the years, the holiday grew. By the early 1800s, political leaders used the day to give speeches about freedom and unity. When John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, two of the founding fathers and former presidents, both died on July 4th, 1826, the meaning of July 4th. Today, the 4th of July is more than a history lesson. It's a day that represents the values America was founded on: freedom, equality, and the pursuit of happiness. It's also a reminder that independence wasn't easy. It was risky, revolutionary, and imperfect. The founders' words set goals that the nation has spent centuries striving to live up to. So, why do we celebrate July 4th as Independence Day? Because on that day in 1776, America didn't just separate from Britain, it declared to the world that people have the right to govern themselves. It's the day a group of ordinary colonists dared to dream of something extraordinary, a nation built on liberty and equality. July 4th isn't just the birth of a country, it's the birth of an idea that continues to inspire people around the world. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And that's why, every year on July 4th, we celebrate America's Independence Day. Happy Independence Day, USA!